I look like a really old Jesus, or I look like a hipster Dumbledore. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam and I'm female to male, transgender, 4 years on testosterone, 3 years post-op top surgery. Today, we are going to be talking about one of the most awkward things I could think of, trans guys with periods. Trigger warning, there will be speak of our dear friend's menstrual cycle. I'm telling stories and using terms, so careful, take care of yourself. Don't watch this if that's a trigger for you. Otherwise, let's dive right in. The first thing is buying tampons and pads when you're a trans guy. Real freaking awkward, let me tell you. Let me just lead you through what this looks like. You'd walk in, Target, CVS, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's fine, it's no big deal. I'm just gonna get some bananas and some oranges and maybe some tampons, I don't know. You wait for the last, second, so you don't have to be carrying them around the entire time you shop for the rest of the stuff. You start heading towards the feminine hygiene aisle and you're like, this is cool, it's fine, I'm just walking. You get to the aisle and you turn down and you're like, you know what, guys are allowed to be here too. I'm comfortable, the world is evolving and changing. You get to the tampon and pad section and you're like, this is awkward. So then you grab your phone, you call your girlfriend or your sister or whatever, make sure your screen is black, and pretend to call them. You're like, hey, yeah, I just don't know which ones you want, there's so many, I don't know. Yeah, they're all kind of similarly priced, they seem really expensive. Okay, yeah, I'll just get those. And then you hang up, put it back, and look kind of frustrated, and you grab it like, I don't care. When all along you really did know exactly which one you want, just to make yourself feel better, not that anyone else around, if you're passing as a guy, is even remotely thinking of you being there as weird. Let me tell you, confidence goes a long way. I've learned that, especially in checkout. Sometimes if you're really uncomfortable, you can pretend to be on the phone again and be like, yeah, I got them for you, don't worry. That's what I used to do, and it's so awkward. That kind of just helps your story along. If you're on the brink of, am I passing or not, in the iffy zone, maybe this little tip of pretending to call someone will help. Second thing is, if you don't use tampons and you only use pads and you only wear boxers,
where does the pad go?
Exactly. Typically speaking, boxers, I'm not talking about boxer briefs, I'm talking about boxers, which a lot of people exclusively wear. They hang down lower. They're kind of just like thin shorts. Not quite where you need the pad to be. It's that far down and you're bleeding. It's gonna bleed in areas you don't want to bleed because it's not gonna catch everything because it's just too far. So that's real awkward. Honestly, I would just suggest maybe getting boxer briefs. Those are really comfortable and it's closer, so it'll catch more things, but still really awkward. One of my favorite things that I've noticed is when girls are talking about their periods and almost out yourself because you relate a little too much.
I have the worst cramps. I have the heaviest flow this month and tampons are so expensive.
Oof, yeah, that's rough. They're like $15 a box, and that's for one box. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, I have lots of sisters. I have to buy them for them all the time. I hear all about it. You have almost just outed yourself. On the flip side, real awkward when guys talk about it, because surprise, guys do talk about periods as well. But it's more coming at it from a very confused place, generally. Not all guys, a lot of guys have, sisters or whatever, they know their stuff, but a lot of guys don't, and they're like,
dude, my girlfriend's not even on her freaking period and she's so moody, I don't get it.
Dude, why are there so many different tampons?
Oh, I don't get periods, I don't get it. It's crazy walking down that aisle. I can never understand how to choose one for her.
Oh, there's different flows. There's heavy, there's light, you can choose different sizes. So there's slim, regular, super, extra, super large. There's a multi-pack that has all of them. There's cardboard, there's plastic, and then there's different brands on top of that. You have probably outed yourself or made things really awkward. And it's not to say that you offering that information or being yourself is bad at all, but it can lead to a very uncomfortable situation if you yourself are not out and you're wanting to be stealth, or you're with people that, don't understand or don't support it or whatever. Sometimes as a trans person, you forget that your experiences are not normal. You know, you forget to filter for like transphobia, which is probably a good thing, but also sometimes saves you in the long run from awkward situations like this. Probably the most awkward thing after having to buy the tampons and pads, when you need to change them, and you go into the men's restroom because you are a man and there's no bin. No bin. Like in female bathrooms, there's no feminine hygiene bin to place your stuff. So if you're using a pad or a tampon, what do you do with that stuff? No one knows. This world needs to evolve a little bit more and have a bin in just all of them, because then we're excluding trans people, but that's for a further conversation, discussion. Super awkward, because you don't know where to put your stuff, and it's already awkward having to do that, and it's kind of loud, and why would guys have like a plasticky sounding thing in the restroom? So you kind of have to wait for someone to like flush the toilet, or you flush the toilet, but then that's weird because like if you flush the toilet, you're usually done, but then you're like then in there for a little while. It's just awkward, okay? Next thing is nurse's office. You sweet souls that are still in middle school or high school, especially middle schoolers that are just getting their periods for the first time. So cute and so awkward, because you're already awkward at yourself as a middle schooler in general. It doesn't matter if you're cis or not. And then getting your period on top of that, doesn't matter, awkward. And then add being like identifying as something else. And then maybe on top of that, being in a more judgmental state or city or something on top of that. That's so awkward, having to go into the nurse's office during school and be like,
hi, I need a tampon.
And they like look at you weird and like try and figure it out, and it's like, you know, an adult when you're a young kid and you're already awkward. Can't even imagine. I'm so glad I didn't go through that. My love goes out to you sweet middle schoolers and high schoolers that have to deal with that. Last thing is cramps. If you haven't experienced cramps, let me tell you, they are a very specific type of pain. How do you like wave off this weird pain that you're having that you need to talk about to people sometimes because it's so extreme, but not say that they're cramps? I guess you normally end up just saying that it's a stomach ache. I guess it's similar enough in like in the same region. If you're like grabbing your stomach all the time, it can pass. You know, people will offer you different like remedies and solutions for a stomach ache than they would for a cramp, so it doesn't actually work. So if you're stealth or not wanting to be out to these certain people, just like, how do you go about that situation? You know, and sometimes cramps are so intense. My friends used to take off like a day of school because their cramps were so gnarly. Thank to sweet baby Jesus that I did not have cramps. I had them like maybe once or twice and they were pretty mild, but let me tell you, that was enough times and enough pain for me to be like,
don't ever need this again. I'm good. Thank you so much.
Anyways, those are the most awkward situations I could think of to do with trans guys with periods. Menstrual cycle, we don't like you, we don't need you. Cisgender people generally don't even enjoy periods. So add trans on top of that, smash those two together, and it's just the most awkward situation you could think of. My period stopped after about like 2 or 3 months, maybe even earlier, on testosterone, so I haven't had it for a long time. All of this stuff is just like really awkward. It can be very uncomfortable and very dysphoric. Just know that you're not experiencing it alone. There's plenty of trans people out there having periods that you just don't know about. You know, you hear a little crinkle of plastic in a men's restroom, that may be a person dealing with their tampon. You never know. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy and quarantined. Don't be going outside. I love you. I will be back next week with another video. I will talk to you later. Me and Snow say adios. We love you. Adios and goodbye.